Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Nashville for day one of the Music City Open presented by Lone Star Disc. Again, good morning. I'm Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy, and we have Nate Perkins out on the course at the Music City Open. Nate, we're about 30 minutes away from the action that's going to take place out there for the opening round. We have to talk about the number one player in the world, of course. That's Kristin Tattar. It feels like by maybe even her standards, she's having a slow start to the year.
Yeah, Terry, it's hard for me to really look at her finishes and say that she's had a slow start. I mean, she's played 2 Elite Series events, and she won one of those events in pretty dramatic fashion with a nice putt on 18 back in Waco. We did see her finish outside of the podium for the first time in almost 2 full years with that 5th place finish in Austin. And Austin was really the only tournament where I could say that she looked visibly frustrated with her play. She wasn't quite connecting on her forehands, and she was undercommitting on her putts, which is something that we really never see out of Kristin. But she came back to Texas State's in Houston, and the forehand was back. She was in stride, honestly. And after the event, she said that she was actually happy with the 2nd place finish. She was able to congratulate her competitor, Sai, and she said that she's feeling good, and I actually had the chance to speak with Kristin about her return to Estonia. Since Houston, she went all the way across the pond back to Estonia and said she was quite busy. She only got to spend 1 day back home with her daughter Isabel and Silver. And yeah, she touched just a bit on how busy she really is since winning Worlds. Everyone wants that attention and wants the interview and stuff. So it's good to see her back in the U.S. And yeah, I think we should expect to see her in stride this week. She said that her arm is hurting just a bit, but she's able to connect fully on the forehand and the backhand. So, yeah, I expect a lot out of Kristin this week, Terry.
All right, as we said, high expectations for the number one ranked woman in the world. We caught up with her yesterday during the press conference. Let's hear what she had to say.
My arm hurts a little bit from throwing. I didn't have a chance to play last week because I had so much stuff to do. So here, I feel like I have to throw some bombs here, and I threw too many discs, I feel like. But I really like the course. I really like the landscape and the shot shaping here. So, yeah, I'm just excited to have the chance to be here and to play this course.
Wow, and we've talked for years, Nate, about parity within the FPO division. We've had so many players that come in and are just dominant for a period of time, but not right now. We have seen 6 different winners from the Disc Golf Pro Tour dating back to the last part of last year into this year. What does that say about our FPO field?
Yeah, Terry, the FPO field is trending in the right direction. As a fan of the game, it's been really exciting to watch. I think this is one of the first seasons where, you know, even the chase card is a threat to win. And, you know, back in Houston, we saw Sai, you know, kind of get the win that is going to change her life, really. So I'm looking forward to seeing which competitor might change their life with a win here in Nashville.
Well, I'll follow that up and say that Sai Ananda isn't playing this weekend. In fact, I think she's taking a little bit of time off. What do you think of that decision, and should she be riding some momentum instead?
Yeah, I think the decision is pretty calculated by Sai and her father. They saved up a lot of money to go out on this first stretch of the tour, and she returned to Washington to figure out what her tour vehicle is going to look like for the rest of the season. So I think it's pretty smart that she's taken April off and she's going to recoup and prepare for her next event on the West Coast.
All right. Well, we're going to take a quick break here on the network, and on the other side of the break, we'll be back. Brian Earhart is out there giving us a beautiful course preview. We'll be right back.
Why disc golf? It's the people. It's fun.
It's being in nature.
It's the lucky shots.
It's the feeling.
It's different.
It's the challenge. It's the throws.
So come out.
Grab a disc.
Or two. And let it fly with Lone Star Disc.
Kyle Klein stepping up for the birdie on 18.
Your Open champion, Gannon Burr.
Another record-setting weekend on the Disc Golf Pro Tour. Back-to-back weeks, winner coming from the chase card. Pretty special stuff. Gannon Burr, Kyle Klein, two young superstars on tour, showing you how to get it done.
What makes the Halal Guys so deliciously different? You might have heard of our famously long cart lines in NYC fans happily stand in. Today, with over 100 plus restaurants across the globe, we are your place to experience authentic American halal. Enjoy our delicious falafel, Euro sandwich, platters, and sides topped with our famously flavorful white and hot sauces. Order online today and taste how we make different so delicious. The Halal Guys, bringing something deliciously different to the table.
Welcome back. You're watching Tournament Central. Right now, we've got a preview of the Mill Ridge Disc Golf Course with Brian Earhart.
Welcome to Nashville, Tennessee. This week, we're at the beautiful rolling hills of the Mill Ridge Park Disc Golf Course for the 2023 Music City Open presented by Lone Star Disc. I'm Brian Earhart, and this week I'm going to walk us through a couple of holes that, as a viewer or spectator out here, you are not going to want to miss. Let's talk about it.
Hole 7 is a 535-foot downhill par 3 designed with the fans in mind. Players tee off from a large built-up platform where only the top half of the basket is visible, so their depth perception and ability to control their disc's flight from elevation will certainly be tested. There are two main shots that players will choose from this week: a wide power hyzer around the lone fairway tree over the out of bounds, or a much tougher to execute straight shot that can potentially reward them with a softer landing on this steeply sloped green. Hole 15 is an absolute monster of a par 4. The 777-foot hole is lined with OB all down the right side of the fairway, which slopes left down into natural rough that's almost certain to force you to pitch out if you happen to land there. The trickiest part about hole number 15 is the tee shot, which makes you choose between a distance flip up down the middle or a dangerously wide power hyzer that's very challenging to get back in bounds. With how far out of bounds players have to play the hyzer option, many will opt for the touchy or straight shot to stay over the playing surface as long as possible before throwing their second.
Hole 15 is just the beginning of an incredible finishing stretch out here at Mill Ridge, and if the wind picks up like it tends to do out here, we're bound to have yet another nail-biting finish here on the Disc Golf Pro Tour. For Tournament Central, I'm Brian Earhart.
Thanks, Brian. The Pro Tour's last elite stop was in Austin, and with that, our friends at UPlay got involved with the local community. Let's check out the impact they made.
Hey, I'm Ella Hansen. I'm UPlay's Director of Community Connect. I'm here with Thomas Gilbert, Connor O'Reilly, and can you introduce yourself?
Yes, Charles White with First Tee, Program Manager, and we had the privilege to meet these professionals and learn a little bit about Frisbee golf, and had about 50 kids participate in a little program they designed, played some fun games, and they actually are donating 2 baskets to us, and I think our kids are really excited to use them, and it's probably going to be a part of our program going forward. Just really appreciate that.
Of course. Yeah, we had a great time. We taught for about an hour and 15 minutes. Why you got a good memory today?
Yeah, one of the kids after a couple stations was asking me, like, how do I sign up to do what y'all do and to be a part of the PDGA? So it's pretty cool to see that he had that much interest there.
Yeah, we're really excited to be out here in Austin, and thank you.
And after the break, we're going to take a quick look ahead to this afternoon in the FPO field, including this man, Calvin Heimberg, who is off to a scorching start here in the 2023 season. Double G Craft Jerky has been a favorite of mine for years. As many of you know, it's the hot boom sauce for the disc golf guy. The unique flavors and delicious taste make it the perfect snack. Every bag of Double G Jerky sold contributes to the Double G Children's Foundation, which helps supports youth disc golf. Visit doublegjerky.com and use the code DGPT on your order and get a free 1-ounce bag of jerky with every order.
Here we are at the International Disc Golf Center. The course is just shining for the competitors.
This place means a lot. It's the type of course that where as soon as you think you have it figured out, it shows its teeth.
At a major tournament, there's a different kind of feeling.
Make your career go to the next step. You need to win a major.
We show where we came from and hopefully show where we're going with events like this weekend.
Should have brought some snacks.
I got you.
Ah!
I got you. I got you. I got you.
Oh, Karen, do you know where hole 17 is?
I got you.
Is that a compass? Karen, why do you have this?
Ethan, just help me. We gotta get this set up. Okay. It's getting dark.
I think this golfing can improve our community in many ways. It brings people together.
That maybe some of these kids who feel a little bit lost could find something like disc golf, find friends, find people to come together and play the sport.
Encouraging people to work together, kids to know one another, love one another.
A way for these kids to have a really fun thing to do together.
I think that's what we need in the world, love one another and do life together.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy. We've got Nate Perkins on the ground. So far, Nate, we've seen Calvin with just an absolute dominant season. He's 4 for 4 for hitting the podium, including 2 wins. What do you make of his start to the season?
Yeah, Terry, it's about as good of a start to the season as we've ever seen. Calvin's actually closing in on a unique record, Paul Macbeth's record of 6 consecutive podium finishes on the Pro Tour. And I want to ask you, Terry, if you think that Calvin's pitch putt is going to be able to hold up in this wind. I know back in Houston it was pretty calm and that pitch putt was deadly from circle 2 and in. What do you think about that pitch here in the 15-mile-per-hour winds that we're going to see this weekend?
What I would say is I've seen Calvin adjust throughout the years. It doesn't seem to really matter. He may or may not feel comfortable with it, but he seems to adjust and get it done. And when he has so much confidence coming into a weekend like this with this 4 for 4 start on the podium, I'm not sure much matters. And you know what? Even if it did matter, you wouldn't be able to tell it by the look on his face, right?
Yeah, he's a mystery to us all. And I'm actually staying at the same house that Calvin's at this week. And he was one of the few competitors actually out here in the wind and the rain yesterday. He practiced a full 18 and then he stayed and putt in 50-degree weather with rain coming down. So he's definitely focused for the week.
Well, we caught up with him yesterday at the press conference. Let's hear from him now.
I will say the current layout, I think there are a good amount of places where I'm leaning on. I don't know if I'd say an overstable driver. It just depends on the direction of the wind, but definitely a stable to slightly overstable disc. So I think there's plenty of that out here, but there's also some shorter holes that require, some mid-ranges as well.
And when we come back, we're going to check in with our Open at Austin champion, Paige Pierce.
My favorite flavor of Double G Craft Jerky, easy choice with teriyaki. I love my sweet and I love my salty food. It's a great combination of both.
Got to go for the hot boom sauce to give you that extra kick.
Probably going to surprise a lot of you guys. My favorite flavor is actually the sexy sweet and spicy. I find it to be one of the best jerkies I've ever had.
Hello, we're Kenna. We're a Dutch growing company. We love plants and we want to tell you some cool things about them. Just like humans, plants can communicate. They can sense when another plant is close. Plants look out for each other too. They warn neighbors about nearby threats by secreting substances. And studies have shown that plants love a good tune. We love and understand plants. Let our passion excite you too.
Welcome back to Nashville for the 2023 Music City Open, presented by Lone Star Disc. Nate, we saw Paige Pierce have a pretty disappointing finish. She finished 16th at Waco just a few weeks ago, but then as soon as the critics started chirping, she comes back and some would say had a statement win over there at Austin. What do you think we can expect from her this weekend?
Yeah, Terry, I think that Waco's given her trouble over the years. It's one of those courses that forces the player to hit a specific angle of release, and she's really struggled in the woods back there, and Austin was a big win for her, no doubt. But what I really want to key on is kind of how Paige Pierce's life is kind of changing a bit. I mean, she bought a house, and she's getting married this year, and she's no longer like full-time road warrior. She's just played 2 events this year, and she's able to return to her home, and she's really a full-time homeowner at this point now. She spoke in the press conference how she actually made her shoulder and elbow a bit sore from raking the backyard. So what have you seen from Paige about the difference in her well-being?
Yeah, I think another thing that she talked about in this press conference and in others, she said, now that I'm going home more often, I'm actually focusing on relaxing. And then when I come to the course, as soon as I pull in, whether it's in a rental car or in her van, she says, I'm punching the clock. I'm officially clocking in to do my job. And she's just found that separation so much more of being on the road full time. And now when she's able to go home, like I said, she's able to, so to speak, punch out. And it probably feels, it's not still quite a 9 to 5. And I think there's quite a few people that would still love and envy the job that she has. But I think she's finding a little more peace within herself. And of course, very happy with her fiance and Alyssa. We saw them post to social media just yesterday how she's more comfortable and she's dancing on the beach, which is exactly something that her fiance was encouraging. So I love seeing this by Paige Pierce. And I think when she shows up, she's going to have more tenacity and be just a little bit more fierce. Let's just see if she can stay focused and get dialed in for this weekend. And does this course suit her? Is it perfect for her, Nate?
Yeah, I actually walked with her for her first practice round out here, and she compared it to Jonesboro, and I think that's a great comparison. There's just subtle undulation in the pasture out here at Mill Ridge, and it's a course that it doesn't really challenge the player off the tee box as far as being precise with that angle of release, and she was just eating the fairways up, taking her overstable Zeus's and just sending them 400 plus feet down the fairway. And really, that's going to separate her from a lot of the field out here, especially with the switch in the wind direction, Terry. All week, the wind coming out of the southwest, 12 to 15 miles per hour. And just yesterday, when the storm rolled in, it actually switched. It's going to be out of the northeast up to 15 miles per hour here in the next hour. It means we're looking at a tailwind on 1 and 2. And then for the meat of the front 9, players are going to be dealing with a pretty significant head crosswind, and I think Paige's overstable discs are going to be eating the wind up, honestly.
Well, as you said, wind is going to be one of the factors. Yesterday during the presser, she was talking about any other challenges she'll face this weekend. Let's take a look.
It's open and long and very elevated. So even on the holes where you feel like it's a little shorter, you still have to throw it hard because it's uphill or downhill, and you want to match the angle to the hillside. And then just adding on top of that, the heavy winds that get out here, you're having to throw it multiple miles an hour quicker to fight through that wind. So yeah, everything is just amplified out here on this course. And it's weird going from this one to Champions Cup because the courses differ so much, but I'm finding this is a very good warm up. It seems weird to call it a warm up because it's an elite series, but it's also going to be a warm up for Jonesboro. Very similar golf out at Jonesboro.
All right, we're going to have just one more break here at Tournament Central, and then we're going to wrap up and send you out to the FPO action. We'll be right back.
I just think the plastic is very premium. It's a high quality material. The way the disc feels in my hand.
I think it's the quality of plastic.
It's unlike any other plastic that you'll find in the industry.
The quality is better than any other company out there.
Again, just consistent plastic. It's something I can consistently trust on every single throw.
There's so many discs to choose from, and I guarantee if you tried every disc in the lineup, you're going to want to put multiple discs in your bag.
It's extremely high quality. You can only say so much, that they have to eventually just try it themselves and see.
Welcome to Music City Disc Golf. We are a 501c3 nonprofit public charity here in Nashville, Tennessee. We strive on including men, women, juniors, and providing competition for all skill levels. We would like you to come be a part of Music City Disc Golf.
Drama all the way to the final hole. Kristen to win the Waco Annual Charity Open. She's done it! Kristen to tar.
Why disc golf? It's the people. It's fun.
It's being in nature.
It's the lucky shots.
It's the feeling.
It's different.
It's the challenge. It's the throws.
So come out.
Grab a disc.
Or two.
And let it fly with Lone Star Disc.
And as we're taking a look at the scoreboard, Rebecca Cox, our only competitor thus far that's under par. Seeing a lot of evens, and in fact, I'm seeing quite a few scores that are over par. A ton of bogeys have already been added to the scorecards out there. Looks like Music City is going to be up for the challenge for these competitors. Nate, I'm seeing just bogeys littered everywhere in the early goings. What does that tell us about either the conditions and or the course that they're out there competing on this weekend?
Yeah, Terry, I was standing at the basket of one for the past hour watching cards roll through, and I feel bad for the FPO division over the past month and a half. I mean, they have been faced with some pretty nasty conditions. It's 50 degrees out. It feels like 40. There's a gentle rain coming down right now. And as I mentioned before, the wind direction has completely switched from the week of practice. It's out of the northeast. It's 15 miles per hour right now. So pretty significant. And this course is just not draining well. There was an inch of rain on Thursday. And so the fairways are going to pose a huge problem for the competitors this week.
Wow, Nate, you say cold, windy, and rainy. I'm happy that I'm sitting here in the booth this weekend, and we'll see if the conditions improve throughout the rest of the weekend. Super excited to see what's going to happen. Of course, our defending champion, Missy Gannon, is right here on one of our feature cards, along with Deanne Carey, Macy Valadiaz, and Paige Pierce. Missy Gannon talked about if there's more pressure or not, and right now we're going to send it out to the course because Missy Gannon has got a title to defend, but we've already seen the parity within the FPO division. Will Missy be the 7th? We'll find all that out and more. That's everything for here at Tournament Central. Nate Perkins will be on the ground. I'm Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy, and we'll see you during round number 1.